Grab your big book, your pen, your highlighter, and notepad and get ready to hear and apply some of the solution from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous through the experience, strength, and hope of Nikki M. To have a question addressed in a future episode of Noodle It Out with Nikki, please send an email to noodlewithnikki@gmail.com, and Nikki is spelled with 2 Ks. To get a more interactive experience with Nikki as she noodles out life and recovery questions using the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, you can get a link to her weekly Noodle It Out with Nikki meeting held live on Zoom every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The information to that meeting is in the show notes of this podcast. God morning, God afternoon, and God evening to all. My name is Justin B., and I am the son of an all-powerful and all-loving God and a qualifying addict of multiple fellowships living in the miracle of recovery. And I'm here with the intelligent agent, spearhead of God's ever-advancing creation, and my co-host, Nikki M. Nikki, please take a minute, say hi, and introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nikki M, and I'm here live in Toronto, Canada. And it's it's an autumn fall day. And we just came off the Noodle meeting, which was fire. If you don't know about the Noodles, I'm sure it's in the show notes. It's a live Monday morning meeting at 9 a.m. that we do. Then Justin and I meet up after a little, breaky poo. I go get new coffee. Sometimes I don't, because mom makes jet fuel that puts hair on my chest. And then we circle back here and we, go through the questions that have been either emailed in or sent in. So, I'm just grateful to be a servant of God today. Thank you. I'm here now, present. And Justin, thank you for all the RICO 12 resources. If anyone's listening, the 7th tradition is vital to keeping us alive. Thank you in advance.
Yeah, thank you, Nikki. And yes, we are so grateful for any and all contributions that come in, whether they be small, just a few pennies, or whether they be large. We've had some large contributions in the past also. If you would like to donate, go to rico12.com/support. That, as well as the link to Nikki's Noodle It Out with Nikki meeting every Monday morning, and other important links are in the show notes of the podcast. So go check those out and join in with us. All right. I'm excited about today, Nikki. What we do in the Noodle It Out with Nikki meeting is we bring a question from our everyday life, whether it be from the Noodle meeting, whether it be from the Noodle chat on WhatsApp. And if you want to get in on that WhatsApp group, you can find the link also in the show notes. But we bring a question to the Big Book, and Nikki really helps us dive through the Big Book page by page, line by line, to see where we can find the solution to the problems that plague us in our everyday lives, whether we're sober, whether we're in recovery, whether we're in the gutters. We can find we can find a solution in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. So our question today comes from today's Noodle with Nikki meeting. Somebody posed this question, and as I heard it, I was like, I think there's some things in there that many people can learn from. So the question is, I'm 2 years sober, working my program and sponsoring others. I have not been in a romantic relationship for 2 years, and now I've started into one, and I've lost all serenity and sanity. What does the book say?
There you go. I couldn't find the unmute button. I got a new phone stand because I still need a computer. It's falling everywhere. The guy's like, this is going to work for you. Sir, at the mall, it doesn't work. Okay, here we are. The book says a lot about relationships. And what I just heard you say, Justin, and I was writing down a page as you were talking, is that this person, and I was on the meeting and I got a little crazy. I do that sometimes. And it's fun. We have a good time because we're so passionate, because the reality is she was dying. She was really dying. And it really hit home because, hi, I'm Nikki M, and I'm a love addict, and a hardcore love addict. I will throw out my children for the man I love and not think twice about it. Just like if you're out there and you're throwing out your children for alcohol or crystal meth or food or work, same thing, porn, doesn't matter it's not being helpful. So she was doing all the do's, as you said. She's done the 12 steps. She is sponsoring, because a lot of people, they're like not sponsoring. And that's my first question. It's never, how are you? It's never, what is the problem? Because I know what the problem is. It's your selfishness. and your self-centeredness on page 62. That is the root of your trouble always. So if your sponsees or some new fellow calls you and says, I have these problems, Nikki, I always hear this. I know what my problem is. And I say, stop. It's on page 62, I think it's 112. Read the book. I've read the book. And page 62 says you're selfish and self-centered, that you make decisions. See, this person, and I heard her, was making decisions based on self, what she wants in this moment, that now is placing her in a position to be hurt. So 2 years sober, she's in there. And of course, your life becomes recovery. So where I had to ask some questions, we had to noodle it out. Sometimes you do need details. I had to, page 18, get armed with the facts. The facts are, proper English, I don't need more coffee, is that this person that she found, great. We find wonderful people in the rooms of any anonymous. I don't care what anonymous you're in. But let's go deeper. When I got some information, the person that she started dating after 2 years of being sober is in the rooms. That's fine. We are not let's go deep here because I want to make sure, well, Nikki said this. No, if your sponsor says something different and whatever the book says is what it says. It says right here on page 69, right here. I want to get here. We want to stay out of this controversy. And they're talking about what? Sex, page 68, now about sex. Because it says, or relationships or romantic interest. Many of us need an overhauling there. But above all, we tried to be sensible on this question. And here it is. It's so easy to get way off track. See, it's so easy when it comes to sex and love. My sponsor has said multiple times, mostly on his 4-hour 12-shop workshop that he does the last Sunday of every month, Cameron F., who spoke here many times, sex and food are the two most powerful energy forces that a person in a human body, a meat suit, can experience. Like really, like you'll put down the alcohol and drugs, but you will pick up love or relationships or food or something's going to really, it's hard to get off those two. So here it is too. Here we find human opinions running to extremes. And then I'm going to jump to page 69. We want to stay out of this controversy. We don't want to be the arbiter of anyone's sex conduct. We all have relationship, love. It's not just about sex, because a lot of us aren't having sex and we're still having problems, right? We're in fantasy addiction. And it says we'd hardly be human. This is part of the human experience if we didn't. So what can we do about it? Okay, so you're supposed to review. But what I said to her is I got armed with some facts, page 18. She met this person in the rooms. This person is 7 months sober. This person hasn't worked a 12-step program. Now, if I heard this and I heard a man was doing this to a woman, I'd be like, that's 13 stepping. If you're just joining us and you're new, what is 13 stepping, Nikki? Well, it's not in the book, put it that way. It's making an approach to your brothers and sisters in the room who are still sick, who still can't differentiate the true from the false, who haven't put God first. Better yet, Justin, they haven't had a spiritual awakening or a spiritual experience. They're only on step 4 or 5, maybe 6 or 7. Maybe they're working their amends. Can't you be patient? See, if this person's for you, and I didn't have time to go into it with this person, and hopefully they'll hear this later and everybody in the meeting will, because I think I didn't even read this page at the meeting. We just pile through so many questions. There's 150 people there, but my phone thing is dropping again and it distracts me, but here it is. This person hasn't had a spiritual awakening. Page 102, I took her to. It's not helpful. See, page 102 says your job is to be of maximum helpfulness. So is it helpful? Everybody ask yourself, is it helpful if you're in a 12-step room and you're in the grip of a progressive illness and you're armed with the facts, especially about yourself? That means you're armed with the facts about everybody else in the rooms, especially. Says page 60, any life run on self-will can hardly be a success. Step 12 on page 60 says, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps. See, that person hasn't worked all 12 steps. So this person is not being helpful. That's hard to hear. It's going to be interesting to see what this person does, Justin, because how do you pull back? Because once, hey, everybody, if you're out there, it's the same as a drink. And you know that, Justin. If you're a porn addict and you start one, you're gone. You're losing your job because now you're at work watching porn and you're a professor. True story. I've heard these things. I mean, these are all the things, one bite and now you're 500 pounds later. No, like these things are real. One drink and you don't get back into the room for 8 years. I've seen the codependents in Al-Anon run in. Hysterical. They were there for a while, didn't want the program, decide they didn't want the program is what it says in our book, right? What do they need? More suffering. So this person's not being helpful. So where am I? She's not spiritually fit. Page 98. I want to burn this into the consciousness of this person. Anybody out there? No, let's not even 98. Let's go to page 100 first. I'll end with 98 after you jump in here too. And I want you to talk about this, Justin, because it's here. It says right here, assuming, see, this is a promise. Page 100 of your big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, 4th edition. We believe our book here. Assuming Nikki and this person are spiritually fit as a result of work in this program, we can do all sorts of things addicts are not supposed to do. How about this? Like page 118, be patient. If you really like this guy, be patient. He'll work his steps. Justin, I've been destroying my life. I have not been practicing these principles in all my affairs. I have to be patient because the person I love, I have not been demonstrating these principles in my respective home. Page 19. I've been doing it in my affairs, in my occupation, which is a servant of God, but I've not been demonstrating these principles to the man I love. Not even my son. I can catch a resentment real quick on him. Lots of expectations on both of them. And both of them really don't even want anything to do with me right now because I lose my mind. Remember daily reprieve. So assuming you're spiritually fit, you can do all sorts of things like date anyone at any time, but you have to be armed with the facts about yourself and others. You need to read this book. You need to know that if you don't have a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, you are sick. We learned we are sick, says the book. Let's go there. It says it right there. I think it's on page 90. It says, no, it's not. Let me see here. I don't know, but it says we learned we were sick. I'll find it. It says it all over the book. What do you have any thoughts on this, Justin, where we're at right now?
Yeah. So my personal experience on this is, well, my primary identifying addiction is a sex addiction. And I have learned that for me, that, well, how do I do this? Because the way I want to go leads outside of the big book into other materials. So and we stay in the big book here. Can I
interrupt you though?
Yeah,
it also
absolutely.
Just so you can feel free. Page 87 of our big book says there are many other helpful books. Says see where religious people are right, make use of what they offer or whatever. I'm paraphrasing. So please feel free to go outside if you need to, Joe.
Okay. Yeah. So in other core fellowships, any of the S fellowships, not any, a lot of the S fellowships, there are definitions of sobriety that are out there that are pretty specific in some of those fellowships. And for me, I found that my definition of sobriety in my sex addiction has to be pretty strict, or I am, like what Nikki said, I'm going to be, one sip and I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my family. I'm going to lose everything because I can't have responsible sexual relations with anybody but my wife. And even then I have to be in a good, healthy place before that can happen, or I'm dying. And I think those are some principles that can be brought out of the big book, but for some people, that definition of sobriety has to be pretty dang strict, I think, in order for them to maintain sanity. I know that is for me anyways. Nikki, any additional thoughts on that?
Absolutely. What if we said to an alcoholic, you can just have a sip when you get married? Think about that one. My friend said that the other day. You understand, like friend, Sponsi, actually, she just came back. She was, before COVID, we were in person. She's my little baby. I loved her. Like she was and she came back to Toronto because her dreams in America actually fell through. Okay. I don't want to give too much details because I've sponsored too many people to count. But anyway, she's come back and she found out, her relationship was ending. He's untreated. He's sober, but untreated, no program. All these things are happening. And so what happened? She came back and she's already had sex with somebody. Okay. Like I took her through the book, Justin, as a love addict. She goes down to America, gets into the AA program and decides she's an alcoholic. My experience, strength, and hope is she's probably a type 2. For sufficient reason, she can stop drinking, but she can't stop her love addiction. So we're at breakfast yesterday, a little brunch. And she says to me like this, well, I saw him 3 or 4 times and it was, I had fun. And then she says, I blocked him. Okay, now remember, doctor's opinion says we can't differentiate the true from the false. Our addict life is our only one. I said, why did you block him? I thought it was fun. You see what I mean? Like, make it make sense. It's casual fun, sex, really fun. Is it helpful? Especially when you're not, as you just said, spiritually fit. You can do all kinds of things. She's just coming out of a relationship. She's just moved here back to Toronto, which she doesn't want to do. She was in the sun, sea, and sand. And all these things are life's falling apart over there. But you come back and you have sex. And then I said to her, well, should I just tell you to go have a drink? I mean, you now identify as an alcoholic. Is it fun if I just went out? I can go out and have a drink. Is it fun if Nikki just goes out and gets drunk? That would ruin my life. Like, you understand, and I'm not a real alcoholic, Justin. So you got to make it make sense. God is everything or God is nothing. It says God is everything or God is nothing. So back to this, you go ahead if that works for you, but it wasn't working for this girl. And I love what you said. You brought in the essay book, the green book. And again, here it is. I'm a judger. Hi, I'm Nikki M, and I'm a radical judger of everything and everyone, especially if it's not the big book. And I'm like, oh, those people in essay and they have this book and they have certain, they're hardcore standards in there. And I've sponsored people out of there. But you know what? As I, page 55, sweep away my prejudice, as I think honestly, and as I search diligently within myself, guess what, Justin? The consciousness of my belief is sure to come to me. And my belief is no, sex outside of anyone, outside of the man I love. I mean, we were going to get married. Hopefully we still will. I don't know what's going to happen in this moment because life happens. And my story, I hate to say it's complicated, but it is. He lives in Luxembourg. I live in Canada. We met on a beach in Cuba. We had to survive COVID unvaccinated. There's some things there. And I have a big thing. I'm serving God with Noodle. Like I can't just walk away and be like, I'm going to go there and be a wife. I got to, practice these principles in all my affairs. Is it helpful? No, it's not. I got mom living in my house, 95-year-old auntie who I'm the power of attorney for. Friday night, she fell if I wasn't here. Like, you understand there's things. So again, I'm going to go here. I want to burn into the consciousness of everybody that you can get well regardless of anyone or anything. You have to trust God, and then you have to ask yourself and clean your house. She hasn't cleaned her house because I don't see, if you're armed with the facts, these facts in the big book, the fact that you're in a grip of a progressive illness, that you get worse, never better. I think that's page 30, page 85, that you get a daily reprieve contingent on your spiritual fitness. See, I'm really lucky. And I'll tell you, Justin, so are you, with the sex and love disease, because we go into rooms and we can't do what those people do. Alcoholics think they can do that. Drug addicts think they can go and do that. It's like, I've been to an NA convention, my Experience, Strength, and Hope NA members. And this was back in Palm Springs in like 1996. It was a sober sex party. It really was, because there was no, we're sober, but let's go here. Let's go here. Page 82. And I know we need to close out soon here, but it says, we feel, page 82, a woman, a man is unthinking when they say that sobriety is enough. Being sober is not enough. See, this is what Noodle, I'm glad you pulled this question off our meeting today, Justin, because I want everyone who was on the meeting to come hopefully listen to this, because we didn't go to a lot of these pages. And then one of my sponsees popped in, and that's what we do. And she gave some wonderful suggestions, and she just really brought it all home. And I can't even remember what she said in this moment. But again, let's do this. We feel a member of any fellowship in any anonymous is unthinking. They're dead asleep, unconscious, if they think being sober in their main drug of choice is enough, because we are what? In the grip of a progressive illness. What does it say? It says we deal with alcohol, but I like to say we deal with addiction. Page 58. Cunning. Think about that. Cunning. Google those words. Think about how baffling. If it's baffling, I haven't been in a relationship for 2 or 3 years, Nikki. We have these feelings. Well, take your time. Page 18, be patient, because it says it's all powerful. And you and I know those sex powers. Oh, let's read it and then close us out, Justin. I want to read this here. And you better believe your books, everybody. Nikki, when I speak to you guys, I'm speaking to myself. You better believe it, Nikki, because it says, we remember always. No, I'm not on a spiritual hilltop. I'm screaming this to Nikki and Justin, because we just identified as sex addicts in the grip of a progressive illness. We get worse, never better. And here it is. We remember always, 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 always that our sex powers were God-given and therefore good, neither to be used lightly. Don't use these powers. This is a power. Everyone, this isn't mediocre crap. We're entering a spirit world, an energy, a frequency, a vibration. It's not to be used lightly or selfishly. Remember, that's the root of your trouble. You want what you want. We're acting like monkeys, like mukakus, eating, fornicating, defecating. We are children of God. I'm looking at the Son of God, and he's looking at the daughter of the King right here. We're on Zoom, just the two of us. And here it is. They're not to be despised or loathed. So, no, I got to remember this. God, I love this program. I love you. I love the person who came and shared the program. I can't do this program without you.
Thank you, Nikki.
Do.
Love it. And I'm just going to close this out here with a couple other big book references. One is from page 58. If you've decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you're ready to take certain steps. Sometimes that any length is further than I want it to be, but when it comes to the sex ideals, we ask God to mold our ideals and help us live up to them. That's on page 69. If I'm the one dictating what my sex ideals are, I'm going to go deep into insanity and misery, and my serenity will be lost, and I'm going to be dying. If I let God dictate that and am willing to go to any lengths, even if I don't like it, that's where peace and serenity can happen. Thank you all for being here today. Sometimes it's not an easy journey, but this road of happy destiny that we trudge is well worth it. And so are you. Keep working it.